everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and I have to start out today's video by saying that decluttering after a loss of any kind can be an extremely difficult and emotional process. And it's also a very personal journey. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's important that we listen to our heart and do what feels right to us. Sometimes, however, the grief we're experiencing can make it difficult for us to know where to start, or can make the process itself feel impossible or unbearable. So today I want to share some strategies and some things to keep in mind that could help make it a little bit easier and may even make the process a healing one. The first thing to remember is to give yourself time. Don't feel like you have to declutter everything right away. It is okay to take your time and go at your own pace. Now, we don't want to drag out the process because sometimes that ends up just dragging out the pain, but rushing the process is not necessarily any better. And I know sometimes we can feel pressure from other people to get it done faster, but only we know what time frame is going to work for us, and everyone is different. For some people, they may want to get through it quickly. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid for them. And for other people, they may feel like it's almost disrespectful to fly through it too quickly, or feel like it's too painful to do too much too soon. So find that balance for yourself and honor whatever is best for you personally, but whatever you decide, start small. Do not try to declutter everything within a day or two. Start with one closet or even one shelf and pay close attention to how and what you are feeling. And if your body starts to give you the signal that it needs to be done for the day, then it is important that we listen. The second thing is to allow yourself to grieve. It is okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated as you declutter. This process is likely to bring up a lot of memories and emotions, and it's important that we know that we don't need to push these feelings away. In fact, allowing ourselves to feel our feelings helps us to process them and to release them, and ultimately helps us to heal. But because this can be such an emotional process, it is also important that we remember to take breaks. Decluttering, even when there isn't a loss involved, can be emotionally draining. So it's important that we don't try to push ourselves too far, too fast. Number 3 is to start with the easy things. Do not try to begin with items that make you feel emotional or that bring up a lot of memories or that will take a long time to decide what you are going to do with. You want to save those for absolute last. You want to begin with items that you feel the most indifferent about. It could be paperwork, could be books, could be toiletries, things that you feel like there wasn't that much of a personal connection with. When you start with items that feel a little bit more neutral like this, you're going to be able to make a lot more progress quickly, and it's going to make you feel a lot better about the process as a whole. With time, especially as we heal, it will get easier to begin to address sentimental items. And when we do feel ready to start addressing these items, we have to make sure that we are being honest with ourselves. While it is perfectly fine if we end up deciding that we do want to keep some things that have sentimental value, we also need to make sure that we are being honest with ourselves about some of these items and whether or not they are things that we are going to need or use in the future. Because let's face it, especially at first, we may have this urge to keep just about everything. We may also experience a lot of guilt while trying to part with these items, which can definitely cloud our judgment about what is realistic and healthy for us to keep. We may try to convince ourselves that we're going to display or use different items that if we were really honest with ourselves, we would realize we'll probably just end up in boxes in the garage. So as much as possible, we do want to try to be objective as opposed to looking at each item through the eyes of emotion. Easier said than done, I know, but this can be a practice that is extremely beneficial. And it can also be very helpful to ask ourselves questions like, does this item bring me joy, or does it make me feel sad and anxious? Is this item meaningful to me personally? Do I have enough space for this item? Is this item easy to care for? And am I keeping this item out of guilt or obligation? The answers that you give to questions like these can make it a little easier to make difficult decisions. For example, if you find that you really don't have the time or energy to properly care for an item, or if you realize that you're only keeping it because you feel guilty, it may be better for you to let it go. Please know also that although it can feel painful to let go of an item that belonged to a loved one, it's important to remember that they want you to be happy and they want you to live life to its fullest. And if that means that not all of their items are going to live in your home forever, then you cannot feel guilty about that, because they want for you whatever is truly best. Now, number 5 is to accept that not every decision will be perfect. Because we love the person so much, we may put this pressure on ourselves to make the absolute perfect decision regarding what to do with every single item. We may also confuse honoring the person with feeling the need to keep everything, even though they are things we wouldn't otherwise keep. We can also sometimes feel like anything the person owned or touched is almost sacred in some way, like it's got a little piece of them inside of it, which can make us feel like holding on to their possessions is a way for us to maintain a bond with them. In psychology, we call this idea sacralization, and it's a topic that I talk about in great detail in a video I made about decluttering sentimental items. And I will go ahead and link it down in the description box below. I definitely recommend watching it. But because of this unconscious belief, it can make us feel like every decision is a major one. It can make a decision about what to do with a pen or a pair of socks take like 30 minutes because we are so afraid of making the wrong decision. Please know, however, that there is no perfect decision. Whatever choice you make is the right choice, and that you are honoring the person no matter where these items end up going. Now, some people do find that donating these items to a family member or to a charity shop helps to make letting go a little bit easier or gives a sense of meaning to the process. But even this is not always possible. So again, there are no wrong answers. So please take that pressure off of yourself. The 6th thing is to ask for help. If you're struggling to declutter on your own, ask a friend or family member to help you with this process if it's possible to do so. In some cases, they don't even need to help you make decisions. They can just be there for support and to remind you that you're not going through this alone. And if you find that you're really struggling to decide if and when to declutter these items and you cannot move forward, it may be helpful to reach out to a therapist or a grief counselor. They can help you to process your grief and to make decisions that are right for you. We also have to be honest with ourselves about whether or not we are ready to start letting these things go. And if you're not sure, it's okay to wait until you do feel ready. Something that we can do in these situations is to box the items up and get them out of view, and then simply wait until you feel emotionally ready to declutter. Please know, however, that in many cases when we do feel ready, decluttering can feel like a weight has been lifted off of our shoulders. It can be a very important step in the grieving process. And in that sense, it can also be an essential part of healing. I wish you so much love and strength in this process, and I truly hope that you found today's video to be helpful and insightful. If you did, please like it, share it, and definitely become a subscriber if you aren't one already. I would absolutely love it if you stayed connected. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.